Hello everyone, my name is Zack Mazurek and this is the Diocese of Marquette Seminarian Reflection Video Series. Today is the second Sunday of Lent and I want to, there's so many great things in the readings this weekend, but I just want to unpack just a couple of key points that we can kind of focus in on, and one of them specifically is the story from Genesis, one that we're all familiar with, of Abraham and Isaac. And it starts off with in Genesis chapter 22 verse 1 where it says that God puts Abraham to the test. And we see that, what does it mean to be put to the test? Sometimes we think of when you were a kid and you had to take a test at school, you're like, oh man, I don't want to take a test. Like, that means I might do poorly, or I might not do well, and the teacher might make fun of me. No, my friends might make fun of me. I might not feel as smart as other people. It's an opportunity maybe for humiliation, or for maybe if you look back on that and think a test were something I was afraid of, or something that brought a lot of regret or a lot of kind of doubt or fear into my life. But I think that attitude towards a test is something that we have to kind of change in our minds. Rather of that attitude towards a test, I want you to think of this. Think of the first time that you were able to maybe go out and drive a car for the first time. Your parents maybe let you take their car after you'd gotten your license, and they trusted in you to be able to take it out for a drive. And this was like a test, right? Because you had to prove yourself, to prove that you could do it, right? Like, there was this sense of kind of responsibility, this sense of love that you wanted to show, yes, I can handle this, that I can do it, I can pass this test, I can drive the car. Or maybe as an older sibling, you were given the responsibility of looking after your younger siblings. The first time maybe your parents left the house and left you in charge. This was a test, and you were called to look after your younger siblings, and you had a chance to prove yourself. And so in a similar way, the Lord gives Abraham a chance to prove himself, to prove his love and his faith in the Lord. And the interesting thing is that the test is measured out to each person based on their abilities, right? So like a good teacher teaches us to be able to pass the test that we will take, right? He doesn't give us a test that's too hard or too easy, but a good test is what measures our ability and which tests what we've already learned and known, and it's appropriate to what we've learned already. And so the same thing applies to how the Lord tested Abraham in his faith. That throughout his life, Abraham had continually trusted in the Lord. Even when they thought they would never be able to have a child, what happened? They had a miracle. They had a son named Isaac who was going to fulfill the promise that Abraham would have descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. But now he's put to the test. After this great miracle happens, the Lord tests him again and says, I want you to take your only son, your son Isaac, the one whom you love, and offer him as a sacrifice. And we look at that and we're like, what is the Lord doing? But this is an opportunity for Abraham to prove his faith in the Lord, trusting that no matter what happens, no matter what doubts he may have had, and that somehow the Lord would fulfill his promise. Even when he thought, well, how is this going to be possible? If I kill Isaac, then he's the one whom I love. He's the one who the Lord promised would be the father of many nations. How is this going to happen? But even in that, he still trusted. He still had faith that the Lord would fulfill his promise. And so we see this reflected in today's psalm as well, where it says in Psalm 116, I believed even when I said, I am sorely afflicted. And so in your life, you may be feeling that way, like I'm sorely afflicted right now. Like I'm feeling isolated, I'm feeling alone, I miss my family, my friends, this human connection that we've been missing, that we're longing for. And the call in this time is that it is a test. And it's an opportunity for us to say, even in this, I still believe. I still believe in you, Lord. I still trust in you. And so if we take that attitude towards each day of our lives, even when it's tough, even when it's difficult, that we may trust in him, and that this is an opportunity, it is a test to be able to prove ourselves and prove our love for the Lord. And we don't do that by ourselves. It's through his grace and through his mercy working in us that's going to enable us to pass that test. And so that is the way that we'll be able to do it. And we also see this reflected finally in the gospel. How do we do this? How do we live it out? Well, in the transfiguration of Jesus on the mountain, the Lord appears, the God of heaven, the God of earth, in the cloud, and he says about his son, this is my beloved son. And then what are we supposed to do? Listen to him. Listen to the Lord. So in this time of Lent, take that opportunity to dive into the Word, to dive into prayer, and listen to what the Lord has to say to you, so that you may trust in him, that you may put your faith in him, and that you may prove yourself worthy of the call that you have received to trust in him, to love him, and to have hope in him in everything that you do. So that is my prayer for you as we journey and continue this journey in Lent towards the great joy of Easter, that we may trust in him, we may hope in him, and have our faith, even through the test, even through the trial, that is a chance for us to prove our love for the Lord. So may God's peace be with all of you, and God bless you.